security and to end the agency's longest ever shutdown. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson have now come together just days after a messy intra-party blow-up to pursue an ambitious two-track plan that's going to fund ICE through what they call the reconciliation process. That's a move that will prevent them from needing any Democratic votes to do it. And this is something that Thune had actually previously proposed last week. Johnson opposed it, rejected it. The president then endorsed the plan in a lengthy Truth Social post just this afternoon. He says he wants this reconciliation bill done by June 1st. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman from Massachusetts, Jake Auchincloss. Congressman, let me start by getting your reaction to this news. I mean, the Republicans have finally gotten on the same page, but why do you think this wasn't done a week ago when Senator Thune first proposed it?
Yeah, it'd be nice to be with you again. The House GOP rejected, as you said, the unanimous Senate version of this, which was fund DHS minus ICE, so that the agents who keep us safe at TSA, at the Coast Guard, will be funded while we debate ICE. Why Speaker Johnson decided to appease his hard right wing is the same question we could have asked the last year. As over and over again, he has catered to his extremists in his caucus as opposed to the median voter. But I think here, actually, the GOP is at a more fundamental fork in the road on immigration. If they go this party line path, where they double down on ICE as a paramilitary, I think they are going to divorce themselves from mainstream America on immigration for a generation to come. What they could do, what I invite them to do, is instead to pass the Bipartisan Dignity Act. This is a bill of which I am an original co-sponsor that secures the border, that rationalizes our visa and asylum system, and that provides a pathway to citizenship or legal certainty for those without documentation, provided that they pay a fine and back taxes. It has broad bipartisan support, and Congress could surprise the American public right now. Imagine that. Imagine if Congress actually acted on immigration reform. We could do it if Speaker Johnson would just show some political courage.
I want to pivot to Iran because that's going to be the big topic tonight when President Trump addresses the nation. He is expected to reaffirm his intent to end this war within the next 3 weeks. Meanwhile, Iran is denying that it has offered a ceasefire, which is what President Trump had claimed earlier today. So, with taking all of this into consideration, I mean, can Americans put any faith in the timeline that President Trump is laying out without assurances or confirmations that there really are direct talks happening between the United States and Iran?
No, the American public should discount everything this president says tonight. One, because he lies. He lies on average 5 to 8 times every single day for the last decade, and he'll lie again tonight. And two, because he doesn't actually know his own strategy. His administration is discordant upon what the actual end game is here. 4 different administration officials have given 4 different answers in the last 48 hours about whether the uranium is or is not in play, about whether the Strait of Hormuz is an objective or not, about to what degree we have already degraded the Iranian military. Rubio, Hegseth, president's spokespeople, they just don't have any idea. And this president has bungled this war so badly that he started a conflict with Iran and is ending it by fighting with NATO. That does not make America safer. What this president should be putting forward, what Congress really needs to put forward and take the steering wheel from him, is a proposal to end this war immediately, prevent a boots-on-the-ground quagmire, and then to work with our Gulf allies, to work with Israel, to work with NATO on creating a defense and economic integration between India, the Middle East, and Europe that can actually counter the power of China and Iran.
Do you think that the president needs to actually demonstrate that this war has prevented Iran from ever having a nuclear weapon, which he says is one of the 4 goals that he had for launching it in the first place?
Well, he said that at one point. He's now contradicted himself on that point. I think it's important to emphasize that a year ago, during the 12-day war, when the United States dropped a bunker buster down a straw and buried Isfahan nuclear facility underneath a mountain, the United States had a well-scoped objective, and it accomplished it, and it made the world safer. The challenge here is that the president launched a war without a clear definition of the objective, and that includes the at-loose enriched uranium. Iran was not at breakout speed for a nuclear weapon. It didn't have the capacity to take that enriched uranium and put it on a ballistic warhead. And now this war is likely to conclude with that uranium still at large, and with a new terrorist hardline Ayatollah probably more intent on trying to weaponize it. So the president has really failed to either articulate or achieve the end game that the American public deserves.
There are thousands of U.S. troops headed to the region as we speak. Some of them ground troops who are being positioned there, unknown why. If you could speak to any of them who are potentially on that trajectory and the possibility that they might be put on the ground, what would you tell them?
I'm trying to keep you on your boats right now. The Marine Expeditionary Units are naval deployed, integrated air and ground task forces that are meant to be able to make war for 15 to 30 days at a time. The president's crisis response force. Well, the president has a crisis of his own making, and I'm concerned that he is going to try to dial 911 and deploy these Marines to bail him out. But all that does is create an open-ended potential quagmire with boots on the ground in the Strait of Hormuz, and Congress needs to prevent it.
Congressman Jake Auchincloss, thank you very much for joining us in the arena. We'll be right back.